We are heading into the home stretch, and my name is Mike Martin. I'm a member of the faculty here at Seneca. And I'd like to introduce to you Abhijit, who is an assistant professor in the College of Engineering in Pune, India. There's a few acronyms I'm going to use in this. One is COEP, which is the College of Engineering in Pune, India. Abhijit is a faculty at COEP. And he completed his master's in engineering from Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. He worked as a kernel programmer with Veritas Software India Pvt Limited, which is now Symantec, for 3 years before joining academics. He took initiative in starting COEP's Free Software Users Group at COEP and takes keen interest in promoting free software as an activist and educator. That's why he's here. The user group has been instrumental in promoting use of free and open source software at COEP, and he has developed many technical and philosophical talks in various engineering colleges in Pune. And he helped set up free and open source software labs. So please join me in welcoming Abhijit for this talk.
Yep. Thank you, Mike. So hi, I'm Abhijit, and let me start my talk on giving you a perspective on setting up a FSOSS in Indian environment and the challenges and the opportunities the FOSS community should look into. This is where I come from. This is where Pune is. It's in the southern side of India, and it's regarded as one of the IT hubs of India. Along with Bangalore and Hyderabad, we have tons of IT companies around us, and lots of jobs are being offered by most of them. This is the college where I come from. It's one of the oldest engineering colleges in Asia, the third oldest engineering college, and I represent the college and the Free Software Users Group which we run, called the COFSG, COEP's Free Software Users Group. So I am more of a programmer turned into an academician, and it was when I realized that academics is one job where you are paid for making other people's life miserable. And I always like to give talks and talk. So that is another advantage of being in academics, that you can just go on talking without being bothered about your audience running away. So that is another reason for which I switched to academics. And I have been enjoying it so far. So I'll tell you the story of what we have been doing and the story of FOSS in India, the story which I know. I'm basically here in Seneca College on their invitation to connect with people, to connect with the larger FOSS community, and try to steal some of the ideas from Seneca College, which I can implement in my place and to grow the FOSS community in Pune and around. I think FOSS is extremely important for us in India. Yes, of course, for freedom, about which you all keep talking. So I'll just skip that. More importantly, for the cost, because in developing economies like us, software cost is an extremely important issue. And I'm sure to set up a universal education system in very big population countries like us, we need to reduce the cost. And FOSS, there cannot be an alternative to most of the freeware solutions in FOSS to do that. So I can actually myself recollect back in the 1990s when we started using Linux, and it was not the days of the internet. So we used to get these small CDs of Red Hat 6 and Red Hat 7 with some of the magazines, the Byte magazine and the Chip magazine, and we just used to play with them. And I think that was the state of Linux in India in 1990s. In all the other colleges, the IICs, the IITs, and the regional engineering colleges, that's where I think that's how the thing started in India. Today, if I look at the stats, and the stats cannot be perfect because it's difficult to get all this information, but just a count of the lugs and the FSOSS and communities which I know personally, I say there are more than 100 lugs in India, more than 30 lugs in different engineering colleges. And the number of FSOSS is quite low, around 10. And there are people who have developed mailing lists for all different type of software. Some of the most active cities when it comes to FOSS development and promotion are the Kochi and Thrissur are in Kerala, Bangalore in Karnataka, Pune and Bombay in Maharashtra. The IITs and RECs are some of the institutions which are promoting this. Sorry.
What's the acronym? Lugs and folks?
So-
What
sorry?
does acronym stand for? LUGS?
Linux user groups, LUG.
Okay, and the other one?
FSOSS is Free Software Users Group.
Okay.
Right, okay, thank you. There are two major institutions now promoting FOSS, the Free Software Foundation of India, which is a sister concern of the Free Software Foundation. These people have been taking real efforts, to preserve freedom in the legal processes, and they have taken a lot of.
Did you need that?
Not now, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do.
So if you need the USB there.
It's okay now, I already started, so
Okay.
I'll finish it.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, so they have been taking real initiatives to, for the government to promote use of FOSS and, restrict the use of proprietary software. The other important thing which has started emerging is the Free Software Movement of India, which is a kind of coalition of many organizations in different states. And it was announced around 4 years back. Many organizations which are now part of the Free Software Movement of India, including the Free Software Movement of Maharashtra, to which I belong, and it's a big group of very enthusiastic volunteers going around in many colleges and places and trying to advocate use of FOSS. Just like this symposium, FSOSS, India has witnessed many such symposiums, and some of them continue to happen. So free.in is one place where where things started. It took place 3 times in Delhi. There was a Linux users group. India ILX stands for India Linux Users Group. In Delhi, it organized 3 such symposiums called free.in. FOSS.in was another major initiative. It was started by the Linux user group in Bangalore, and it continued till 2012. One thing which has survived throughout the years is the Gunify, which takes place in Pune. It's organized by the Pune Linux Users Group, which I am also part of. And it is every year hosted by the SICSR Institute. And it is one of the most popular FOSS symposiums in India. And we have witnessed some of all the big stalwarts in the open source community visiting Gunify. There is a very vibrant Debian community in India, I'll say, compared to the Fedora community. And many of the people in the Debian community are my friends. They keep organizing mini Debian conferences every year in many parts of the country. We had one of them in 2010 in my own college. The Fedora community, I'll say, is relatively not that active. They keep organizing Fedora activity days, which are mostly in the Red Hat offices. And comparatively less of them have happened over years. Now there are many efforts by the Indian government to promote adoption of FOSS, and the government is really very serious about this. They have invested a lot of money in it. One of the important is the FOSSI, free and open source software in education, and it's really a $1 billion project which the government has taken up. It is run by the IIT Bombay, which is one of the best institutions in India to do this. So the aim of FOSSI is to promote freedom in education, develop content which is released in open source, motivate students and faculty to use open source software tools, and the government has really invested a lot of money. So there are many tools which the FOSSI project has come up with. They organize a SciPy conference, an annual Python conference every year at IIT Bombay. They have developed many tools. For example, for promotion of Scilab, which is an alternative to MATLAB, and they themselves do a lot of development on Scilab. There are many projects for circuit design and toolbox design. There are many government offices which are very keen on adopting FOSS now. For example, the excise department, the Kerala government is very keen on adopting it. They have adopted FOSS. They have adopted Linux as the default operating system for training their kids in all the schools. The Life Insurance Corporation, the High Courts, and the government of Tamil Nadu, they have also heavily adopted it. Kerala is one place where the FOSS community is extremely active for various reasons, and many events keep taking place in Kerala. So as a result of that, the government of Kerala itself set up the IC FOSS, and they organized this Swatantra Free Software Symposium, a kind of conference. It was organized this year, it will be organized this year in December. So IIT Bombay, I'll say, is by and large the leader in adoption of FOSS in India. They keep running a lot of projects, may not necessarily be with the communities, the Debian or the Fedora type of communities, but there are largely independent projects, but most of the content being released in open source. So one important project is FOSS, which I mentioned. The second is the Akash tablet project, which is a promotion by the government of India. Akash is an extremely low cost tablet, Android tablet being released to Indian engineering students. The cost of the tablet is around $50, and the aim is to develop content on Android and release all of it in open source through the IIT Bombay website. They have a very vibrant GCC resource center, and they keep promoting development of the GCC compiler. And Ekalavya is a project to create educational content and courses in open source and release online. So I would like to also give you a brief view of the development of FOSS from India, from different people and communities. I think this is where we lack. It's very difficult to get these statistics, how many actual developers we have in India, but I think a good number to look at is the number of Debian developers we have. So there are around 12 to 13 Debian developers in a community of hundreds of people. So I seriously think that this is one area where we really need to put in our effort. Deeproot Linux was one popular distribution, and they run a software called Depot Fix Mail Server, which is quite popular, and the company is still running successfully. So to carry forward from the last talk, IND Linux is one group which is extremely active on Indic language computing, on developing solutions for Indian languages, because of the grammatical structure and complexity of the Indian languages. We need solutions which are very native in nature, and this group has been extremely active in developing solutions for Indian languages. Even in that group, it is again the Malayalam, the Kerala community which is extremely active, and they're in the Swatantra. Swatantra means free in Malayalam. They're in the Swatantra Malayalam computing community, which has developed a lot of solutions, and it's also part of the DSOC 2013. Their Dhwani project is one of the most extremely popular projects, and it's a text-to-speech conversion engine for Malayalam. NRC FOSS is another project by the government of India, and the aim was to develop an OS based on Debian, and they ended up developing this Bharat operating system, which unfortunately is kind of dying. It was adopted by some of the government agencies, but because of lot of maintenance issues and the fights with the community, the BOSS operating system has not seen much of an adoption. And they developed a Meghdut, which was a cloud initiative. A long time back, 4 to 5 years back, there was a Wink XTS ebook reader, which the software was released in open source. Now let me just give you a short overview of what we have been doing at College of Engineering Pune and what my group has been doing. So it all started in 2009 when I joined, and we really had to start with installing Ubuntu for the first time in the college. We installed it on 20 computers, and that's how we all began. We spent the entire summer of 2009 in just conducting workshops on system administration, installation, and shell programming and all. But I think that was a wonderful thing. We created the first batch of system administrators, because to maintain labs we need people, and one person cannot obviously maintain labs. So we decided that we'll hand over the labs to the students, and the students will maintain the labs, and we could create the first batch of sysadmins. And ever since that, we have evolved a self-sustaining model wherein the senior students conduct workshops and system administration and shell programming and installation festivals for their junior students, all voluntarily, every year on a sustainable basis. So I don't have to intervene, they keep doing it on their own, and the students maintain all the labs, and we have evolved this kind of a self-sustainable system. After a few years, we could set up a FOSS lab and another lab which has lot of computers in it, around 180 computers. And then we started, what we call as the Occupy Co-op movement. So earlier we all began in the computer and IT departments, and then we slowly started taking over the other departments. And people in other departments will normally say, I'm an electrical engineering person, all I need is my MATLAB, I have nothing to do with Linux and all. So we started promoting Scilab and all other software that they need, and we started conducting sessions for all of them. And slowly now we have got the entire institute converted into at least a dual boot environment. We have very seriously tried to engage with the Debian and the Fedora community. So we began by engaging with the Debian community in 2010 when we organized the mini DebConf, and we were lucky to get some sponsorship from the government also, from the FOSS operating system people. This event ended up being a show of a fight between the FOSS community and the Debian community over contributions upstream, because the FOSS community borrowed everything from Debian and contributed a little upstream. So this was a nice experience for me as well. We have tried to engage with the Fedora community, and because there is a Red Hat office in Pune, so some of them find time to engage with us and come and interact with our students. So we have been conducting workshops for students over engaging in projects and so on. The FurCon was one real event which we hosted. The 2011 FurCon was hosted in COEP, and we are lucky to have it. So it was a chance of Pune to host it that year, and we could grab that chance of bringing our entire Fedora community to our campus. We are extremely hopeful that this will ultimately develop into more engagements with the Fedora community and Red Hat in particular. For various reasons it has not happened, but we are still very optimistic about it. We have been going to other colleges and school, and my students and I in person, we go to other colleges now, we go to other schools, we set up labs for them for free, because there are thousands of colleges and schools around, and they really do not know anything about this FOSS world. So I think it is still one of our major aims to reach out to them and promote FOSS. Another thing we did was the Wikipedia India Education program, wherein we got seriously involved in developing collaborative wiki editing content. And this was, I think, one event done on extremely large scale, because we have large number of students. We have classes which are 90 students, 100 students, 180 students big. And doing this type of assignment was a extremely enriching experience for us and the Wikipedia community as well. So far, we have tried our best to promote use of all different kind of FOSS solutions in our campus, from Moodle to Ubuntu to Drupal to Scilab to Fedora, Debian and Wiki, and the adoption is growing. Of course it is not satisfactory for me in person, but we keep trying. We have also tried to do some of the solutions ourselves. I am personally very interested in the Indic language computing part, and one of our aims was to convert to have a solution for the terminal, the genome terminal, to display Devanagari text properly, and this is one of the solutions developed by our students for rendering of Devanagari, that is a Marathi and Hindi language script, on the genome terminal. We have also taken initiative for conversion of documents. Before Unicode came, lot of non-standard formats, encoding formats got developed for encoding of Indic language text, and this lack of availability of a standard has been a real problem. And after Unicode came to the fore, there is a real need of converting all the existing non-standard encodings into the Unicode. So we have developed a solution for that, which is available on our FOSS website. And we take a keen interest in improving Moodle, because we use Moodle very heavily. So we keep doing our small improvements to Moodle. That is another thing we do. So some of my students, after they graduated, they have still persisted with the FOSS community. Gautam Akivate keeps contributing to many projects. Shravan Aras and Sana Khan are some of the students who are very active in the FOSS community. We have also tried to offer FOSS electives whenever it was possible, whenever it fitted in the curriculum structure, to promote development of FOSS. So this elective, which had around 20 students, ultimately helped us create 3 small-time Debian contributors to the FOSS community. Now coming to sum up this whole thing, We are seriously interested in promoting development of FOSS, but there are challenges. There are challenges which will need intervention from the community, intervention from the businesses. One major problem is the curriculum restrictions, because unlike the Seneca College or the universities here, most of the other colleges, they run in a university setup, where in India you have one university which has hundreds of colleges affiliated to it, and it's the university which sets up the syllabus, which conducts the exams, which does the evaluation, which gives the degrees. So the colleges enjoy little freedom in doing their own experiments, which is not the case with us, the COEP college, because we are relatively separate from that, so we can do our own experiments. But in the larger context, this is definitely a problem. One major problem is the job scenario. The jobs are aplenty actually. The students get some of the best jobs very easily on the campus. All the Googles and Microsofts and everywhere is out there in Pune and Bangalore and everywhere. And in colleges like ours, almost every student gets a placement. So the common popular student culture is to do what they want, right? And I think I should really go to them and fight with them, saying that we want you to develop FOSS, then only we'll give you a job, because this easy availability of jobs today has become an impediment to we promoting FOSS. And the third is again getting the right people in academics, because there are easily available jobs outside. So particularly in computer science and IT, it's very difficult to get people in academics, the right kind of people to set up an infrastructure and institutionalize the development of FOSS. I think there are very serious reasons for the FOSS community to engage with India. We produce almost 1.5 million engineers every year. These are not computer science IT engineers, the total number of engineers, but I'm sure at least 10% of this, which is also a significant number, is computer science and IT engineers. And I think if the FOSS community can make a breakthrough, even in a 0.1% of that, that will be a huge boost to the FOSS community everywhere in the world. So I think India should be taken more seriously. This is not to boast, but it's known that some of the best companies in the world employ Indian programmers. They're everywhere, and they are dominating the Silicon Valley. So we are producing some of the best programmers. We have a vibrant and growing FOSS community, and that's why I think the community should take us more seriously. And of course, because I am here to promote my college also, I am sure COEP should be taken one of the best bets. We are highly regarded as the best college in the state, one of the top 3 in the Western Indian region, and always counted among the top 20 colleges in India. So we get best of the students, right? And because best of the students, I'm not boasting, but I think they are some of the best programmers. The only thing is, we need to motivate them to become a part of the FOSS community. And I have already started stealing from Seneca. The proof is in our students. The things done by our students speak for themselves. We have been winning some of the most best well-known international competitions, like the Imagine Cup or the Google Indian Women in Engineering Award and so on. For me, I know we have been trying our best to motivate these students also to become part of the FOSS communities, because they are really good programmers. But I think somewhere we need the community also to increase its effort towards engaging these students more. So yeah, that's what I have to say. The house is open for you. Did I finish in time?
Oh yeah, lots of
Yes,
time.
yeah, thank you. Yeah,
You did.
yeah, I think I rushed up.
No.
So in terms of engagement, the people who are involved in free and open source software there, how many of them are paid to do it versus it being something they do off the side of their desks?
0.
0.
Yeah.
So that's one of the barriers.
That's one of the things, right? So I'll be very happy if the Red Hats and the Googles actually engage with the students in paid internships to get work done on the campus, because every other company does it. So one thing I keep insisting to my students is, if you go and join some internship in a company, please insist to them that whatever work we do will be open source. And normally the companies do not agree because they have their own reasons for that. But I think those who are already seriously involved in open source, They should at least be doing this. Yes.
But this is the essence of the open source. What's the motivation for someone to create and add their open source to the repertoire of what's available? I heard you say the Indian government has spent billions.
Yeah, government. Yes. Yes, huge.
Source.
Right. See,
The idea is to add to the open source.
I'll say, see, if we are talking about the NRC FOSS, the government initiative to promote FOSS, see, largely it is going towards independent projects which are not part of, developing software with the existing communities, like engaging with the Mozillas or, the Red Debian or the Fedora communities. The projects are mostly independent on their own. For example, the Akash tablet project. It's an independent project, right? And people are developing Android apps, they're developing novel solutions, but they're like building their own community independently. We are very rarely part of the existing communities. Even to, sorry?
That's my question. Why is that? What can you do about it?
I think the government will always have its own priorities, and I don't know how to convince the government. I think that's an extremely difficult job. I think it is much easier to convince the students, who are the people really doing the job. Without them, you can't do anything. They are the real developers. And if they feel motivated enough, and I think the real motivation will come if they realize the potential of their contributions in their career. We have been doing it, saying it, but as I was telling Ivan, if a guy from your family tells you this is important, maybe you take it lightly. And if a guy from the next door, next family, or the next town or the next country tells you, you take it more seriously. So I think the students need to realize the importance of their FOSS contributions as one of the things which will promote their growth in their career. And that is where I think the things are lacking. And I think that is something which the community needs to do. See, if I talk to them, I always talk to them, right? I'm their teacher, right? So we keep saying to them hundreds of things. This is one of
Well, it's a slightly different topic, but textbooks, electronic textbooks particularly, that's an area that's changing rapidly in North America and Europe. And demand for free textbook is universal, of course. So what's happening in that area in India?
on the textbook side.
Yeah, electronic textbooks particularly. And being bundled with courseware and by your publishers perhaps.
I don't know about the electronics field much because I'm from computer science.
I think
So,
NPTEL would be a good thing to.
yeah, I'm just going towards that. See, as far as the common curriculum and so I said that 3,500 colleges, engineering colleges. I'll say that most of them and most of the students, they still use the printed textbooks. But there's this initiative called NPTEL, NPTEL. What's the long form? I'm bad at it. But it's an initiative by the government of India to create courses in electronic form with some of the best faculty from the IITs and the IISc. And these video lectures are very easily available. I'll say they are better for the Indian community of students compared to the courses on, say, like Coursera, because they are made in the Indian context, and the students find more appropriate to link with them because they are made with the appropriate set of prerequisites in mind, and with the appropriate context of the students kept in mind. So that is one thing. As far as the adoption of e-books is concerned, I think in computer science it is heavy. Very few people, I think nowadays in my colleges, they buy textbooks. They mostly prefer e-books and whatever is easily available on the web. So at least the computer science paradigm is changing. I'm not sure about electronics. Did I answer your question?
Yes, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, when he said electronic books, he didn't mean books about electronics, but he meant.
I know, he meant e-books, right.
Well, and even more generally, the whole idea of courseware on learning management systems, the idea of having a maybe textbook publishers or others that may emerge to create courses that then can be deployed on learning management systems.
No, that is very low.
Licensing issue, and normally now, which
I think
That is very low.
Publishers are not really very much engaged in this part, but some government initiatives like you mentioned about this agriculture, that is one. The other one is that they have started what we call it spoken tutorials, where actually they have audio recorded tutorials.
like the MOOCs to some extent.
Like the MOOCs, yeah. And
Like the MOOCs.
The exact MOOCs version is not being very much encouraged there. They are looking at this combined thing, which is actually led by the
Yeah.
faculty, but it's all supported by a lot of online resources. That kind of a model is being encouraged. And for that, there have been initiatives where they had thousands of faculty members from all across India being trained how to create these hybrid versions of the curriculum. And they were provided by, all this was happening at this IIT Bombay, which you mentioned. There, this initiative is happening where they are, and this Akash tablet is one of the medium which they're trying to use, where they're trying to provide every student with a Android tablet at a very low cost, just $25. And using that as one platform, there's the IIT Bombay based online resources and creating this hybrid kind of course. That's the direction they try to.
The spoken tutorial project is really good. They have created small 30-minute tutorials on a range of topics, all in free software domain, open source domain, and they teach Python and PHP and MySQL and C programming and all sorts of technologies. The students have to take the courseware to their home. They have to study on their own. They come back, they write an online exam, and they get IIT Bombay certification. It has become extremely popular. I think some hundreds of colleges have adopted this model, and it has become a very good way of promoting the FOSS technologies among engineering students, the spoken tutorial.
Well, is this a fair, can I compare this to the Khan Academy? This,
But see, Khan Academy is, you just go and read those, see those videos and come back. There is no examination.
oh yeah,
There is examination
well,
in the Khan Academy.
exercises.
There are exercises, but this is like a certification exam. You get a certification.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a course. It's like a course material, yeah.
Okay. But it's the same learning paradigm. You
Right.
watches something,
That's true.
does some work activity independently of their
Yeah.
institution and of their location.
Right.
So do you think part of the problem with not having jobs in the field is related to the impression that the free and open source software is the free beer free instead
Yes.
of the freedom free? And well, I'll take an example, a company that presented earlier today, Blindside Networks with the Big Blue Button project. Their business isn't around Big Blue Button, the open source software that they're maintaining. It's around the service, a service that's based around Big Blue Button. So they have a vested business interest in keeping the product moving forward. And they then get the help of other developers around the world who also use the same product for some kind of business advantage. And maybe that's the missing piece, and you have to
That's
wait
true.
for that to kind of,
To come.
for the value add to come.
I agree with you, but I'll say that's not the only important factor. Definitely, if there are jobs which require your resume to have some contributions to some FOSS projects, then the students will jump into the FOSS bandwagon. But see, even otherwise, if I go to Google and say I want your job and this is the piece of work I have done, you can just go and read my code, I'm sure they'll take it more seriously, right? Now, that is the part which does not even require a job, which pays you for contributing to FOSS. But that is also another part which is missing. The demand from the employers that show me your code. The employers, they do not demand that show me your code. Right? For them, it's that, all right, you are a good programmer, or you have a good grade on your result sheet, you must be a good programmer, come and join us. Or, okay, you did good in our interview, so you must be a good programmer, come and join us. They are not saying, show me the code. Right? I think, so if they start saying, show me the code, then also the things will change.
Well, for what it's worth, we haven't found putting it on your resume
Right.
as a big motivator for students.
Right.
Not nowhere near as much as a job. That
Okay.
the job doesn't even have to pay a lot for a student
Right.
to find it very motivating.
Yeah.
Just because they have so many competing interests and the almighty dollar, except for a lot.
And what I've felt, I'm from Punjab, and with Western India, in universities, you push towards FOSS, but at that place, the government is not doing that much. The university is not putting into. They should actually introduce FOSS. Nobody knows there. That's another. I feel the problem. Like the universities are not doing anything.
Right.
Some parts. We have programmers there too, right? But
I'll say, see, there are many universities which have become dogmatic, and that is one thing which needs to be broken. So I personally believe that most of the change will be brought in by the students and not the faculty. The things will be driven bottom up and not top down. So the way I look at it, see, even in Pune University, now we are not a part of Pune University anymore, my college, but in all other colleges, I can see a student community which takes interest on their own and keeps learning things, keeps teaching things to other people. They do all on their own, without any monetary benefit, of course, all doing voluntary work. And it takes all 2 days for me to announce that we have some kind of workshop in my college, and they all will jump in.
yeah,
Right? So the students are driving the change. I think that is also the right way of bringing in the change, because it's ultimately the students who matter more. Right?
so
But if you look at the history of the open source in North America, with Richard, whose name I guess is
Stallman.
I mean, it grew out of the professionals in the business
Right.
who had a view about the value of their work being above and beyond sort of the money they might earn, or they saw it as a contribution they made to the wider world, and they didn't see it being compensated necessarily. And then Linux and Atlantic North, showed that it could be a viable way to develop products and systems. And if that model of involving a wider community of people who, maybe some of them were paid and some of them weren't, but they were in the profession. They weren't learners. They were people who could produce and add value and create products.
Right.
And I think that's why I don't see students themselves in India or anywhere else for that matter creating an open source movement at that level. They may be able to participate
Right.
as they do here at Seneca, but they need to be mentored, guided, and supported by a wider system than just they can create. That's my opinion.
I will just add to what you have said, and I think it is precisely because of the way historically computer science developed in India against the way it developed in the Western world that we see this difference. I don't think that we had an organic growth in India. All the IT jobs came to us with globalization, right? So the outsourcing started, people started losing their jobs in the Western world, so there's a discomfort here also. And suddenly, all of a sudden, we have thousands and hundreds of jobs All that the student has to do is complete 4 years of degree, get some basic theoretical knowledge and some practical hands-on on programming, and all the effort that we have had has been on creating either theoretical computer scientists or good programmers in technologies, and that was sufficient for the jobs, right? And if we have a job which comes like that, then we have lost all the historical heritage that the America had, because it had organic growth of the Unix, the Free Software Foundation, the Microsoft, everything. And I think that is what created the environment in which people felt that their work has a worth, they have to create products which will prove their worth, and so on. We never had that. And that is just because all of a sudden we had these thousands of jobs. And everybody wants a good job, why not? Right?
And most of those jobs as such were really not that level of creativity was involved. Rather it was, something, you design something, you realize that this requires so many thousand hours of work.
Right.
Okay. Then that comes to the need of that. So because of that,
Right.
actual design expertise and
Yeah.
that was missing.
Yeah, I mean, I read that the conventional challenges facing Tata and the other Indian and also Asian for that matter, developers is this ability to create products and market them, not to write code.
Right.
Design, innovation, entrepreneurship are the challenges that are going to be at least soon facing your economy or the
Yeah,
Indian
right,
economies.
right. So as they say, necessity is the mother of invention. I think the European and the American economies had the necessity for this kind of invention we never had. Right?
Rather it was but
Yeah, it was the other way around. Yeah, we always had jobs, right? And we never, So I think when at some point in time we were having a shortage of, the rightly trained personnel in computer science. We had less number of colleges, less number of engineers with the right qualifications. When there were jobs waiting for them, I think that is the time when I graduated. We had good number of jobs. Now, of course, we have a lot of engineers, lot of students graduating and so on. But we went through that phase also, I think, in some point in time. I think it was the pressure of the European and US economy which made people think about, entrepreneurship more and developing their own products and setting up their own businesses and so on. That will, I think, slowly come to India. I think so it's my guess that a large part of FOSS development in India will still be driven by community and not the businesses. Although I'm very hopeful that some of the businesses will really engage with us. But it's still largely driven by the community. It's the Debian folks and some of the Fedora folks who keep going to different colleges, keep telling them how to create a Debian package, how to chat on the IRC channel, how to, work on the mailing list. It's these people who are doing it voluntarily, free of cost. And it is still driven by them and very less by the businesses.
But I think the point is worth taking that we need to focus in terms of identifying the entrepreneurial requirements of the community, so that if we are able to sell the prospects of creating some businesses out of open source, and once that entrepreneurial community becomes part of this, then this whole movement will go much better.
That's true. That's true.
Global challenge in open source is always the business case. How can you make money on something that anybody can do?
That's true.
I mean,
That's true.
that's an open debate at a global level.
You're right. You're right. So that's it. Yeah. Okay. So thank you.
Just like to give you a small gift, a token of appreciation. So,
Thank you.
Abhijit.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.